I've heard many rude words in my life. Some were about me, things like "you're single" or "you're worthless," but nothing has ever been as insulting as what my brother-in-law said to me. I won't just sit back and ignore what he said. My name is Ruth Thomas, I'm 38 years old, single, and have a job. You might wonder why I have a brother-in-law if I'm not married. It's because I'm engaged. My fiancé, Samuel, is 6 years younger than me. We met through a mutual friend and got along right away. I have a busy job and often work on my days off. When I met Samuel, I was working a lot, but being with him helped me relax. Samuel is good at cooking, sewing, and works hard, things I'm not great at. After we moved in together, he did the housework and even cleaned my suits, which I really appreciated. I'm sorry, I know you're busy too, I told him one day. I booked a nice restaurant for my next day off. Let's have dinner together. I often treated him to dinner like this as a way to thank him for everything he did at home. Don't worry, Samuel always said, I can leave work on time, and I'm not as busy as you. Besides, I enjoy housework. Soon, our families were going to meet. We had already met each other's parents after getting engaged, but we wanted a dinner party to bring both families together before the wedding. Samuel has an older brother, and I have 2 younger siblings. Instead of waiting until the wedding, our families thought it would be nice to meet beforehand. My brother can't come because of work, Samuel told me. I know you're busy too, so I apologize. Your brother is a talented lawyer, right? I asked. I would have liked to meet him, but if he's busy, that's okay, we'll see him at the wedding. I didn't mind too much. I thought it was more important for our parents to meet. My brother can be a little cold toward people, Samuel admitted. Even if he came, he might have been rude. He seemed nervous. On the day of the dinner, Samuel's brother didn't show up. Samuel actually looked relieved. The rest of our families got along well, and the party was fun. My parents-in-law were kind, and my siblings liked Samuel, which made me happy. Everything went smoothly, and I thought, I only wish I had met his brother. But I had no idea that when I finally did meet him, I would think he was such a rude person. Looking back, I was lucky he didn't come to the dinner. A while later, I was at the hospital with my mother. She had been feeling dizzy, so her doctor sent her to a university hospital for more tests. It wasn't serious, but I wanted to make sure she was okay before the wedding. My mom is in her mid-60s, but looks young. Still, health problems can happen anytime. She worried about me waiting so long to get married, and I felt I owed her for raising me and my siblings so well. Mom, why don't I pay for you to have a full checkup? I suggested. This was one of the reasons I worked so hard to help my family when they needed it. Since the tests couldn't all be done in one day, we had to visit the hospital a few times. One day, the hospital was especially crowded. My mom and I were waiting in a quiet area with some tea. Then my phone rang. It was a work call. I left my tea with my mom and stepped away to answer. It was about whether I planned to change my last name at work after marriage. When I came back, I heard someone yelling. Why is someone shouting in a hospital? I wondered. Then I realized, the yelling was aimed at my mother. I ran over and saw my mom standing up, bowing again and again to a man in a fancy suit. Who was he? He had slicked back hair, an expensive-looking watch, and polished shoes. He looked rich and confident. What's going on? I asked. The man turned to me and looked me up and down. She spilled tea on the seat. I sat down, and it got on my suit. He snapped, I have an important meeting after this. What are you going to do about it? I looked at his suit. It was slightly wet, but nothing major. I'm really sorry, I'll pay for the dry cleaning, I said politely. But he wasn't satisfied. He yelled even louder. People started watching. A few nurses came over, and a small crowd gathered. Realizing the attention, the man sighed. Fine, just pay for the cleaning. Then he asked, do you have contact information? Oh no, I didn't have my business card with me. I usually did, but not today. Just then, a security guard came over. Is everything okay here? The guard asked. The man clicked his tongue and threw his business card at my feet. Call me, he said, then he added, don't try to run away. I was shocked by how rude this man was. He told me, you're a single woman? You're not just expired. You're like garbage, like raw, unsold waste. I was about to argue, but he ran off quickly to avoid the security guard. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. I felt angry and upset because I couldn't protect my mother from his horrible comments. I bowed to the people around us and picked up his business card. I wanted to know who this jerk was. As I looked at the card, I realized what was going on. I canceled my mom's checkup to focus on how she was feeling, but I knew I'd make that man regret what he said to us. A week later, I was at the courthouse when I saw the same man again. He looked at me and said, "You're that trashy single woman, aren't you? What are you doing here? This place isn't for you." I wanted to yell at him, but I stayed calm. I remembered how much I wanted to stand up to injustice. I smiled and said, "I'm sorry for the other day. You must be Maverick Anderson from the Mitchell Law Office, right?" He continued to insult me, talking about the suit incident and how I didn't call him back. I didn't react much, remembering his business card from before. Anderson kept talking loudly, trying to embarrass me, but soon, a man walked up behind me and asked, "What's going on, Mr. Anderson?" Anderson's attitude immediately changed when he saw the man. He quickly pulled out a business card and handed it to me. The card said Attorney Mitchell, partner at Mitchell Law Office. I realized that this man was Anderson's boss. When he saw me, he immediately bowed deeply. "Sorry about Anderson's behavior," he said. "He's been very rude to you." Anderson, confused, said, "Mr. Mitchell, do you know this woman? She's the one who ruined my suit the other day." Mitchell grabbed Anderson by the neck and forced him to bow to me. "Stop, what are you doing?" Anderson complained. Mitchell looked at me and explained, "This woman is a prosecutor. She used to be my boss, and she's always won every case she took." Anderson was shocked. He had no idea I was a prosecutor. "Yes, I'm a lawyer," I said. "I've always wanted to fight for justice, so I became a prosecutor. I took this job because I wanted to make sure criminals pay for their actions." I smiled at Mr. Mitchell and said, "I'm sure you've done well, Mr. Mitchell. I'm proud of you." Then, I turned back to Anderson. "I'll pay for your dry cleaning," I said. "Is that okay, my brother-in-law?" "Brother-in-law?" Anderson asked, shocked. "Wait, you're Samuel's fiancé?" That's when I realized who he was, my rude brother-in-law, the one who missed the engagement party because of work. His face went pale. I told him, "As a lawyer, you should know that saying things like a single woman is garbage is insulting. I'm willing to pay for your cleaning, but you could face a fine or even jail time for what you said. What do you prefer?" Anderson begged for forgiveness, saying he didn't want this to go public. A while later, I had a wonderful wedding, and now I'm happily married. Samuel is a full-time house husband, and I focus on my career, helping my family. Anderson apologized many times, but I decided not to make him pay. I could earn the money myself. He didn't come to the wedding, probably because he felt embarrassed. His business took a hit, and people complained about his rude behavior. I guess bad actions always catch up with you. I promised myself to cherish my life and make sure my family and I always support each other. Please leave your comments. We're looking forward to your comments and channel subscriptions. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching till the end.